Selah Moment for today. Today we're talking a little bit about foundations. Foundations are those structures that exist beneath the ground that are responsible for either holding up buildings or allowing them to fall. If you have a good foundation, the building will exist for a long time. But if your foundation is unstable, the storms will roll in and it'll all come crashing down. I want to take a moment for us to look at our lives and to try to identify what our foundations look like. Sometimes as homeowners, you may walk around your home and look for cracks. That's kind of what I want to do today in talking about our lives. Are our foundations solid and secure, or are they cracked and shifting? So Jesus uses this illustration in the book of Matthew. We're in chapter 7, verse 24 through 29. Let's take a look what God has to say about foundations. It says, "Anyone who listens to my teachings and follows it is wise, like a person who builds a house on solid rock. Though the rains come in torrents and the flood waters rise and the winds beat against that house, it won't collapse because it's built on bedrock. But anyone who hears my teachings and doesn't obey it is foolish, like a person who builds a house on sand. When the rains and the floods come and the wind beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash." So in this passage, Jesus is teaching us about foundations. Now, he isn't talking about like buildings or like city codes, but instead he's speaking about our lives. Jesus is making a sharp contrast between two different types of people. He's speaking about wise people, and he's speaking about foolish people. The factor that determines whether a person falls into one category rather than the other depends literally on one thing. It all depends on how we respond to God's teachings. Both the wise and the foolish will hear the words that Jesus is speaking, and they'll hear the teachings that he is providing, but the difference is in the one who follows the words of Jesus. This reminds me of the psalm that we spoke about in the first week of this month. It was Psalm chapter 111, verse 10, and it says, "For fear the Lord is the foundation of true wisdom." And then he says in the second part, "All who obey his commands will grow in wisdom." So it's not enough for us just to hear the word of God in Scripture, but it's also important. It's fundamental, and it's the determining factor whether if you fall into the category of wise or foolish, if we live it out in our everyday lives. So we're here, we're talking about foundations, but Jesus accompanies these teachings with an illustration. He uses the idea of foundations. So in this moment, he lets us in on some valuable life lessons. Every single one of us has built our lives on a foundation of some sort. We all have foundations in our lives. The question is, what type of foundation do you have? Is it strong and secure or cracked and shifting? So, in essence, what Jesus is telling us here is that if we listen and we obey his teachings, we are wise. And the foundation of one who is wise is stable. So when storms roll in, they can remain solid, knowing that the foundation beneath them is not going anywhere. Their foundation is God. When we put our faith in him, we can rest assured to the fact that he will not let us down. But the same can't be said for those who place their faith in other things. Some of us build our lives on how others may see us. We may be living for the approval of those around us, depending on what's popular in the culture, depending on what the trend of the day is. But this is a problem, because if we seek for people to be pleased with our lives, our foundation is then built on them. And this is dangerous because people change. And when they do, our foundations crumble. Or maybe we build our lives on things that are fleeting. If our hope is on material possessions or even on our physical appearance, those people will surely end up disappointed. Because on any given day, our money or our appearances can change. And then your foundation will come crumbling down. And with that, your life. So finally, some of us might place our security or our strength in the ways of this world. We depend on day trading and the systems and all these other things. But if we place our trust in what the world has to offer us, then our foundations will always be shifting, just like the times. Today it's cool, tomorrow it's not. And so if we depend on those things, again, the building, the things we're investing in will come crumbling down just as fast as that foundation starts to shift. So if our lives are built on a foundation that is temporary, then it will fail the moment that that temporary changes. But if we're grounded in God's truth and we seek wisdom by following His words, then when hardship or heartbreak come, we will have a foundation that won't move. Jesus tells us here, wisdom is that foundation. And we learned in weeks prior, wisdom comes from God. Wisdom is starting with respecting and giving reverence to the Creator. And it's added to us as we follow His commands. So it's never too late to pick a foundation that's strong. What I want to encourage you today is to build your life on wisdom. In other words, build your life on Jesus. So we'll end our time today in Psalm 23. It says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for You're with me. Your rod and Your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever." God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss the video. See you next time.